Good morning, everyone. So, my name is Evie Evans. Some of you might know me online as the Zebra Mom. And I'm currently diagnosed with hypermobile EDS. And I understand that this conference is about the importance of raising awareness of the life-limiting type, vascular EDS. But it's for all people with EDS that I'm standing here today. As you can probably tell from my accent, I'm from Ireland. But there's one thing that all EDS sufferers have in common, no matter their age, their gender, or their EDS type. We've all had to become our own experts. While it should be applauded that many patients with various rare diseases are proactive in their own care and education, EDS patients take it to the next level. To quote Professor Rodney Graham, no disease in history of modern medicine has been neglected in such a way as Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. So because of this neglect, patients and family of patients have had to become their own experts. So I would like to share my own story with you today and why I am passionate about raising awareness of EDS and especially vascular EDS. My mother and father will tell you that I was a clumsy child who bruised and injured quite easily. When they adopted me in 1987, my GP described me as a floppy baby and thought something wasn't quite right. And as a young girl and a teenager, I cried all night long with what we were told were growing pains. I had delayed motor function, and still to this day I have extreme difficulty with fine motor skills. Old family photos will show I had a Marfanoid shape, hypermobile joints, and the whites of my eyes had a hint of blue. The signs were all there. From day one, signs and symptoms of EDS were there. I'm 30 years old now, and I was diagnosed with hypermobile EDS in 2013 at the age of 26. 1 year after I was married, my husband really took sickness and health very seriously. So it took 26 years for me to get my diagnosis, and in comparison to some of my friends, I'm very lucky. For many others, they wait much longer, and for too many, it's too late. Actually, a friend of mine with vascular EDS was told by the consultant that diagnosed her that she was incredibly lucky to be diagnosed, as most people are diagnosed post-mortem. She should not have to be considered lucky to be made aware of a condition that could potentially take her life. Like most other people with EDS, I know I was misdiagnosed for years. What I now know as costochondritis was described as subconscious stress by a GP. My pain and fatigue was a result of depression, said another. I was put on antidepressants for 8 years. In that time, I felt like I was going crazy, and I'm sure a lot of you here today probably have felt that way at some point. And looking back, I think the treatment by doctors made me genuinely depressed. Not being believed, being called a hypochondriac, affected my mental health severely. There were some very dark times, and if it wasn't for my son and my husband, I may not be standing here today. So in 2012, I was interning at a newspaper, and I was writing an article about rare diseases. I was put in contact with a woman who suffered from EDS, and when she told me her own story, something stirred inside me. All the fighting she had done, all the misdiagnosis she had received, it stuck with me. So after that, I became really passionate about raising awareness about this condition and various other rare diseases. I did an updated story about the woman then, a year later, to find out had things improved for her, had she found, a medical team in Ireland to look after her. No such luck. When I told her my own story of unexplained pain, fatigue, stomach and bowel issues, she asked me one question that changed my life forever. Are you hypermobile? No, I said, sure, I'm stiff as a board. So she proceeded to go through the Baton score with me, and lo and behold, I scored 8 out of 9. And over my life, I'd been to multiple physiotherapists and occupational therapists, and not one of them ever mentioned hypermobility. I was once told that if I didn't look after my knees, that I would be in a wheelchair by the time I was 30, but other than that, I was just unlucky to have injured myself. So I was researching EDS like crazy, and the more I read about it, the more the troubles in my life began to make sense. People often commented on how amazingly soft my skin was and how I bruised like a peach. There was hope now that I finally found the missing piece of my health puzzle. I found a rheumatologist in Cork where I'm from who was EDS aware, and after examining me, he sat me down and told me that I had what was then known as hypermobile, or the hypermobile type of Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. With my diagnosis, I decided that I needed to do what that young woman that I interviewed did for me. I needed to become an EDS awareness advocate. I became involved in multiple patient groups. I made videos, I wrote newspaper articles, and I spoke on the radio in the hopes that some other person who felt crazy, who was being called a hypochondriac, would find the missing piece of their health puzzle. The work that I and others in my country have done has helped many people find the correct diagnosis. But I think my biggest achievement so far is helping those with vascular EDS shine the light on this life-limiting type. In 2014, I was chairperson of an Irish EDS group, and one thing I noticed every year during EDS Awareness Month was that the hypermobile type of EDS was the main focus. Well, of course, the majority of EDS patients are diagnosed with hypermobile type. I felt that the vascular type needed more attention. In Ireland, I know just 4 people diagnosed with vascular EDS. We are a nation of 6 million people. And it's a travesty, and it should not be the case at all, that it's going incredibly underdiagnosed. Statistically, there should be at least 20 other people in Ireland with Veds. And right now we have approximately 300 families diagnosed with some form of EDS, but just 4 women with vascular EDS. And I would be pretty confident in saying that the only 4 diagnosed in Ireland right now. And the one Veds patient in Ireland that I know very well says her genetics team has seen her daughter twice who have refused to test her for vascular EDS because she wasn't showing the typical symptoms of it. But as she's grown older, her features and the symptoms have become more obvious. She told me Irish doctors do not like to deal with her because they know more about the hypermobile type, and they're too scared to deal with her complex case. What usually happens is they pass the buck. She gets a referral to one doctor, and then they'll refer her on to another. This Veds patient has spoken to others with the condition all over the world, and most of them have regular imaging, and she doesn't have this at all. She writes letters to the health service executive and local representatives, and nobody will help her. The treatment abroad scheme, which we have in Ireland, won't cover treatment for her intestinal failure, which is a result of this condition. And there is no intestinal failure unit in Ireland, and her only chance for treatment is to self-fund. But this also happens in Ireland with other types of EDS. I myself have had to raise €10,000 this last year to come over to the UK and get treatment for me and my 2 children. But even if there is only a handful of people diagnosed with Veds in Ireland, that shouldn't mean people are left to rot. If we look at cystic fibrosis, for example, it affects just 70,000 people worldwide. We have approximately 1,000 patients in Ireland, but we have massive hospital wings and a plethora of specialists to look after these people. And of course, it's a life-limiting condition, but so is Veds. When it comes to health, small numbers shouldn't equal to a lack of care. After reading the story of the Griffin family, I felt it was my duty as a parent and as an EDS patient to help people with vascular EDS get the recognition you also badly need. To help the people that are not yet diagnosed, to help them, get the help that they need, and nobody should be diagnosed post-mortem. So I decided in 2014 to dedicate EDS Month to all people with vascular EDS. I reached out to Jared to see if Annabelle's Challenge would be happy to collaborate, and we put our heads together and came up with the Reds4Veds campaign. This social media campaign asks for people from all walks of life to wear something red and post a picture on social media with the hashtag Reds4Veds. We knew this would be a success. After all, who doesn't like taking a selfie? plus as an amazing cause. People felt like they were making a difference, and they were. The campaign took off with EDS groups from all over the world, including many of you here today, taking part. From South Africa to France, everybody wanted to get involved. And since we launched the Reds4Veds campaign in 2014, we have reached 250,000 people on Twitter alone. I'm sure many of you have seen stories such as the one published last week about parents being accused of physically abusing their infant daughter. And this is why raising awareness and the Reds4Veds campaign is so important. We need to help families so that they never have to be in that kind of situation. Being suspected of abusing your child is a parent's worst nightmare. But the best part of this campaign was gaining wonderful friends in the Griffin family. Annabelle is an absolute credit to her parents, works very hard for an 8-year-old, and she always has the sweetest smile on her face. And her story has touched people all over the world. And because of the hard work that this charity has done, more people have been diagnosed and lives have been saved. Jared and Sarah are amazing parents and have dedicated their lives in helping Annabelle and others like her. If we can do half the work that they have done, we could all be very proud indeed. Thank you for listening, and I look forward to seeing all your selfies on May 12th. If anyone has any questions, I'll answer them as best I can. Thank you.